Today I'm making a mini angel wing wreath to go graveside for a very young lady who lost her life too soon. I hope these wings will help provide comfort to her family and friends. Let's get started.
Well, I'm going to be making another mini angel wing wreath, and I just wanted to show you the types of mesh that I'm going to use. I have this check fabric mesh. If you do not have the check fabric mesh, you can use stripe fabric mesh. That works just as good. You can use this poly burlap. I actually usually prefer to use poly burlap. I wanted to go a little bit less expensive. That's why I went with the fabric. I did use regular, like this is the deco poly mesh. Okay, I used that. I have hot pink and then I have regular pink. I'm not going to use very much of this regular pink at all. I just want kind of an ombre look as I go from the bottom up to the top. So I am going to just use a rotary cutter to cut this at 5 inches. Even though this is 10.5, I'm just going to keep this at 5 inches. Because guess what? The police aren't going to come and get you. We'll be fine. So right at the 5-inch mark. Yeah, okay. Then, even though this is 10.5, what I'm going to do is just kind of cut that still in the halfway point between the two. Okay, so that should be right about here. Okay, so they're pretty even right there. Okay, now I did want to point out that is at the beginning of the roll. When you start getting to the end, you can see how that's really rolling up. And you could also see, look at all these frays, okay? But we're not going to worry about all those frays. But if you want, when you get to the end of the roll, put something heavy on these. Lay them flat, put something heavy. If you can leave it there for a couple of days, that would be great. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier to work with when you get to that end of the roll. Okay, so I'm going to set this over to the side, but I'm going to use these. I'm also going to do the exact same thing with this hot pink. I'm doing the same with that lighter pink too. They're all going to be cut the same. All the petals are going to be made exactly the same. So I'm going to cut these right at that 5-inch mark. And yes, this is at the end of the roll of a previous roll of that hot pink mesh that I have. Okay, and then right at that 5-inch mark here. Okay. We're not too worried about them being exact or anything like that, because with this style of petal, we're not going to see any edge marks or anything like that. That's what I love about this petal. Okay, so I'm going to take just this piece of the checked fabric mesh. I'm going to take one corner, bring it down to the other. Okay, so it's diamond shape. Bring the top corner down. Okay, now what I like to do is just pull up in the middle right there, and then it just kind of fold this side over, and there we have our Star Trek petal. Well, our Star Trek shape. So I'm just going to take some clothespins and pin each side just to keep that kind of there and ready for whenever I'm done with this petal. So what I'm going to do with this petal, I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to have curl side up. We're going to be at that diamond shape. bring the top down. Then I'm going to pull up, put that over, okay, and we have that Star Trek shape. So what I'm going to do at this point, actually I'm going to I got some 4-inch zip ties ready here. I'm going to put this right over top of the white, where I have just a little bit of an edge there. Not a whole lot, just a little bit of an edge. Okay, where it's kind of down from there. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull these up together. You can see how that forms that little cup. Now, normally if I was going to make that Star Trek petal, I would just push this down. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to keep this together, kind of make sure everything is even, like the inside looks good and everything. Get my 4-inch zip tie and put it right underneath, kind of right at the edge of where this ends here. And when I go to close it, it just kind of starts squishing everything together where it belongs. And I just go nice and slow, move it around if I have to, just to make everything even. Okay? If I have to push it down, push it up, whatever. And it should come to be just 2 3/4 of an inch long, each one of these. So just kind of pull that tight. I'm going to use my wire cutters, cut that off, and then I take my scissors and cut this edge off. And that's my petal. Actually, if you look at it straight up and down, it almost looks like a bunny ear. So, hey, if you have some ideas for bunnies, there you go. Okay, so let me move these aside. I'm going to make one more for you. Okay, so kind of curve side up, diamond shape, bring this down, pull, and bring those together. Clip these together on the sides here. And then we'll do one more time, curve side up, bring this down, kind of pull on that, bring it over. I'll put that on top of there. Bring that up. And there we go. And just keep pulling it tight. Okay. And yes, that's about 2 3/4 of an inch long. And cut this off and we're good. And I'm going to make a whole bunch of these. In fact, what I've done, I've cut a whole bunch of the 5x5 pieces, and I'm just going to sit on the recliner and make these petals while I watch some TV, and I'll be back here to show you how we're going to put these on. So as you can see, I already made my form. If you want a more detailed way of how I did this, I will refer you to another video that I've made. That'll be right up here. So, but what I did, I just used 2-carat forms that I made. I have a video showing how you can make them yourself, or I sell them on my website. But I have these 2 miniature carat forms. I attached some plastic canvas to it. This time I left just about a 1/2 inch separation. I just kind of wanted that to be a little bit wider this time, just for something different, just to see how it turns out. I used wooden dowel rods on the back to go across. It helps to keep it from flopping back and forth. And then I have wooden dowels going down. Obviously, 12 inches isn't going to be long enough because this is going to go into the ground. So I have 12 inches here, and then I went down and put another one down below that. That way, you'll have at least about 4 inches that can go into the ground and make it nice and stable. Okay, flipping this back over, I went ahead and drew some lines. This plastic canvas I got from Amazon, and I realized it is not exactly normally the ones you get from Joann Fabrics or Hobby Lobby. 5 holes is exactly 1 inch. This one is about 4.5 holes will be 1 inch. So I wanted to, 1 inch was just a little too much for these petals. So I just went 4 holes. That way it's just slightly under 1 inch. If you are using one from Joann Fabrics or Hobby Lobby or Michaels, I would suggest still going only 4 holes. If you go too many holes, you might see the zip tie on the previous petal, and you'll see what I'm doing as I am attaching these petals. Okay, now I'm just doing this, just trying to be a little creative, starting with white at the bottom, going to a light pink, and then the rest is going to be the hot pink. I just wanted to try something different. So on this very bottom row, I'm just going to put a zip tie in here, skip a hole, and then come out right where these dowel rods are, which, yes, it makes it a little awkward, but it still works. Okay, and then I'm going to start to close it. Now I'm going to go right in that same hole because I kind of want these first 2 on the very bottom to be fairly close together. And then right in there. Okay, so yeah, what I do, I go in, skip a hole, and come out the next hole. So let's put these in here. Okay, so there we are. We've got them side by side. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So that's the first row. The next row up, I'm going to go 3 across. And I'm going to use 1 light pink, 1 white, and light pink. And this time I'm going to go around that wire on the outside. So now I'm going to move on to going 4 across. Here I'm going to use a dark pink. And again, we have these dowel rods kind of in the way, but I'm just going to go you can go around them. You know what? I'm just going to go around them because you know what? It's not going to hurt. If anything, it helps the dowel rod stay on a little bit better. I'm going to use a light pink in this second one. Okay, so I'm going to keep going up a little bit further. And at this point, as I'm going further up, I'm going to start trying to get these outside petals to just go out just a little bit each time. Now, from now on, all I'm going to be using is this hot pink, and I'm going to go 6 across on both sides. Okay, so at this point, if you need to adjust any of these petals to make sure that the zip ties are definitely being hidden and everything, make sure they're kind of straight up and down, just things like that. Just adjust them as you go, and just kind of, if one's leaning to the side a little bit, just kind of twist it around so make sure it's facing the front. Just little things like that. So I took a little break. I grabbed a glass of wine, grabbed all of the other petals that I have done, and I actually also grabbed a little heart. I think these came from Dollar Tree. There's a couple flowers in here, and I think these hearts were in there, maybe a star, I can't remember. I think they were from Dollar Tree. But I think this will work as a center. Now, the person that I am making this for, they're doing their own center, but I wanted to show you something different that we could do. I wouldn't mind something a little bit bigger than this. I think they do have a bigger heart at Walmart than this. But I'm going to try this and see if it works there at the end. Whatever. So let me grab some more zip ties. Okay, and I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to go further up one more, and then here I'm going to try to start getting these feathers to kind of go out to the sides a little bit. Okay, we're just trying it. Okay, so on this one, I am going to go on the other side of this form because we're going to go a little bit towards the inside. I think this is looking good so far. So I'm going to now start going out the sides. I'm going to go from the outside and work my way in and up and around. Okay. I don't have any set lines or anything like that that I'm just going to do. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and see where it takes me. Okay? So I think now I'm going to just kind of go like a second line kind of up and just make sure I'm trying to get it to go more towards, more flared out to the sides. So like right here, I'm going to go in. Instead of staying on the same row, I'm going to come out the row above just so my zip tie is at an angle. Well, I had to make a few more petals, had to pour another glass of wine, and I'm going to go ahead and hopefully this is enough petals, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get this finished. I'm going to, again, go from the bottom, kind of make my way up. So these are kind of overlapping just a little bit because they're so close to the middle. But I want to make sure as many of these zip ties are covered. Okay, so I have this in as far as I can go inward. Okay, and so this is actually how I'm going to send it to my friend. Okay, I'm not going to have a center on there. But for you, I'm going to show you what can be done. I have this heart. I painted it white. It's just a wooden heart. Painted it white, painted a little bit of pink around the outside, and just glued some wire to the back of it. Okay? And that's all we needed to do. And I'm just going to kind of stick that kind of through some of the petals and around to the back and through the mesh. And there you go. Kind of just secure that around the back. And that's done. Well, cheers. We got another one done. I love these. I think this turned out so beautiful. I love it. Just that hot pink just gives a great contrast with the white, and it just really, really stands out. I'm gonna celebrate with a glass of wine, and we are gonna get this out to my friend. Thanks, Jen, for trusting me to get these done for you. Well, cheers, everybody. My name is Patty Davis. I'm with Crooked Tree Creations, and I'll see you in our next video.